Thanks for tuning in to the Daniel Saul Show, exclusively on YouTube. If you want to see other highlights and analysis from the Daniel Saul Show, make sure you go hit that subscribe button, as well as the bell, so you get notified after every video that I post. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the Denver Broncos and Buffalo Bills game that just ended a few nights ago. The Buffalo Bills were bested by the Denver Broncos. They lost 33-30, and obviously big news with the Broncos. Bo Nix is now out for the season with a fractured bone in his ankle. And Josh Allen, visibly disturbed and emotional after the loss to the Broncos. He was crying in the press conference, post-game press conference. And obviously he's sad. He claimed that he let his team down. Teammates also were interviewed and said that he didn't let them down. And in this specific game, I don't like the way that they're saying it's his fault. Hope you enjoy the video. Let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, just the other night, the Denver Broncos beat the Buffalo Bills 33-30. And Josh Allen, like I said, was crying, said he let his team down. So practically taking the blame for the loss. Now, let's just get this out the way. Josh Allen is one of the three best quarterbacks in the National Football League as we speak. In my opinion, he's number 3. When healthy, when everyone's healthy, he's number 3. As of right now, with health involved, he's the best player in the National Football League. Josh Allen had a poor game the other night against the Denver Broncos. Let's get that out the way. He had a poor game against the Denver Broncos. He made a few mistakes, threw a few interceptions, had a few fumbles, one of which I don't believe is his fault. So let's just say he had one bad fumble that was his fault and 2 picks and an overthrow. Okay. So 4 bad mistakes from Josh Allen that could have changed the direction, could have changed the way this game was going and how it ended in the result. That doesn't mean that this loss is on Josh Allen 100%. People are saying that the reason why they lost is because of Josh Allen. Now, if you can say that with a straight face and believe it, in your heart, believe that it's Josh Allen's fault, then let's have the same exact reaction. Let's say the same exact thing. Let's have the same exact standard set for Lamar Jackson in the playoffs every time he crumbles with his super team, and we want to give him a pass every single time and say, well, it was this person's fault. Well, it was this person's fault. If this person wouldn't have fumbled, if this person wouldn't have dropped the ball, it doesn't matter, damn it. Because if they're the leader of that team and they make mistakes on that field, it's their fault then. It's their fault. They're the quarterback. It all falls on the quarterback. Everyone knows who watches professional football. Their leader is the quarterback. And the quarterback always gets the blame for it. The team goes as far as the quarterback goes. They go as far as the quarterback takes them. And in this case, Josh Allen has one bad game out of the how many games he has played in the playoffs throughout his career, in which he consistently is the best player on the field time after time after time. Either his team lets him down or the opposing team is just better and finishes the game strongly and better than his team did. Doesn't mean he was the reason for the loss. Josh Allen consistently puts up good numbers, consistently makes play after play in big moments in playoff games to set his team up for victory. And the opposing team most of the time is the Kansas City Chiefs, led by the best player in the National Football League, Patrick Mahomes, when healthy, always drives down the field late in the game and gets his team in field goal position so they can win the game. He gets them in field goal range so he can get them to win the game. And they do. Time after time, whether it's away or home, they get it done. And Josh Allen always gets looked at, well, He couldn't pull through. He couldn't get the job done. No, not really. But when Lamar Jackson has a super team, right? Because Lamar Jackson always has better teams than Josh Allen. He always has better teams. He had better defenses up until this season. He had the best running back, Derrick Henry, for the past, 2 years? Okay? He has Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. Likely, he's got players. He's got weapons. Who did Josh Allen have this year? Shakir? He's a decent receiver. Okay, James Cook, he's one of the best running backs in the league. He's not Derrick Henry when Derrick Henry's at his A game. It's not Lamar's fault that Derrick Henry had the worst season of his career with all these fumbles this year and that he got injured. No, that's not Lamar's fault. But when Lamar Jackson gets in the playoffs and he's got this team healthy and they get there every year, and every year the media's like, this is the Baltimore Ravens year. This is their year. This is what they're going to do. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. They're going to beat all these teams, right? It never happens. It never happens. I like to see it this way. There's a food chain. Okay, think of it like a food chain, but in quarterback perspective, and who's on top and who can't win. You look at it from this perspective. You got Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Mahomes. And then Joe Burrow falls in here in this equation just a few times. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Mahomes get in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson has to face Josh Allen. He can't beat Josh Allen. Josh Allen has to face Mahomes. He can't beat Mahomes. Okay, if Lamar Jackson has to face Mahomes, he can't beat Mahomes. Josh Allen has to face Mahomes. He can't beat him. But both Mahomes and Josh Allen could beat Lamar. And then when you have Joe Burrow in the equation, the only person that was able to get past Mahomes was Joe Burrow. He did it once. He got to the Super Bowl. Neither Lamar or Josh Allen has gotten to the Super Bowl yet. And you got people on ESPN like Chris Canty consistently hating on Joe Burrow and saying that he's the reason why the Bengals aren't doing good and we got to hold him to a standard. But at the same exact time, you have these same exact people claiming that Lamar Jackson deserves a pass. Get the hell out of here. At this point, there's secret favoritism when it comes to Lamar Jackson, and they hold this standard to all these other quarterbacks, whether it's Mahomes because they don't like to see him win all the time, whether it's Joe Burrow because he doesn't have a good defense and his offense is incredible and he has to play perfect games in order to win, but people like Shannon Sharp and Chris Canty just don't care. They just want to blame it all on the quarterback. But when Lamar Jackson goes in there, they just give him all the praise and all the glory, and they're like, well, his teammates couldn't do it. Zay Flowers fumbled on the goal line, and Mark Andrews couldn't catch the ball. Look, I'll give you this. The ball was placed in not so great of a spot. That time when, last year, when the Ravens faced the Bills, late in the game, when Lamar Jackson, I think it was, they went for 2, and he threw it to Mark Andrews in the corner of the end zone, and Mark Andrews was sliding to catch the ball. It was put in a decent spot. It wasn't perfect, but it was put in a decent spot to the point where an NFL receiver, tight end, can catch that football. So to Lamar Jackson's credit, now it wasn't the greatest throw, but it was a throw that should be catchable for an NFL receiver. And Mark Andrews failed to execute. He failed to catch the ball. So I'll give that one to Lamar Jackson. Even though the throw wasn't perfect, it should have been caught because it was catchable. It wasn't like it was about to hit the ground. It was placed kind of in front of him or behind him, I forgot which one, and he had to reach for it. But if your hand touches the ball, if you can have the ball in your hands, you got to catch it. And he dropped it. And so they said, oh, well, Lamar Jackson, he got failed by his teammates. Well, he had 2 big turnovers in the first half of that game. He played horrific in the first half of that game. And because he played great in the second half, they just erased that. They were just like, well, the first half never happened. It doesn't matter. What do you mean it doesn't matter? If those 2 turnovers didn't happen, they would have won that game. They handed the Bills a touchdown with the fumble. But Josh Allen, the other night, plays the Broncos. And because he has a fumble, right? And I don't know what he was doing. I got up out of my chair when I was watching the game, and I was like, what the hell is happening? What did he just do? It looked like he threw the ball late in the first half. He just basically threw it away. I don't know what he was doing. That was dumb. Okay, I'll give you that. That was stupid. I don't know what he was thinking. He threw that away. That ended up being a fumble recovery by the Broncos. They ended up kicking a field goal because they were in field goal range. Then he throws an interception, I'm pretty sure in the second half. Okay, he throws an interception after the Bills just got an interception. They just got it. First throw, he throws an interception. The Broncos take it back to basically the same exact spot they were in when they had the offense out, right before the pick. So it's basically like one pick, all right, then another pick and get right back to where we were. So he throws a bad ball, gets picked off. So he throws 2 interceptions, has one bad fumble, and he overthrows Kincaid. Come up from the top, and there was 2 defenders on each side of Kincaid. If he would have just put the ball right in the middle and kind of floating a little bit with less of an arc, it would have been perfect, and he would have scored a touchdown because the defenders they weren't going to be able to take him down, and he was too close to the end zone. But he overthrows the ball, and it wasn't in his vicinity. He couldn't really catch it. It was too high. It wasn't placed well. So a bad throw, a fumble, and 2 interceptions. And the whole entire game is his fault. He didn't play a good game whatsoever. So the only way, which I do believe that this was mostly Josh Allen's fault, but he also made a few good plays, a few great plays that only he could make in the league to get his team to actually have a fighting chance late in the game. They just couldn't get it all the way down to the end zone and score or get it done. But they were fighting in that game. But I will say this. The only way I will 100% agree and concede that this is Josh Allen's fault for the loss against the Broncos is if these same analysts, whether it's the people on Speakeasy, whether it's the people on ESPN, on Fox Sports, the only way I'm able to concede that this is Josh Allen's fault is if they have the same exact reaction, the same exact statements, the same exact standards held for Josh Allen. Same thing for Lamar Jackson. If they can hold Lamar Jackson to the same standards, and every time Lamar Jackson gets into a playoff spot and is able to execute and come up with the win, and he finds a way to lose, regardless of what his other teammates do, whether they make mistakes or good plays, they find a way to give Lamar Jackson a pass, and you're not doing that with me. I'm not letting it happen. If you're able to say Lamar Jackson has a pass, then you're going to give Josh Allen a pass. There's no favoritism in this game, buddy. It's not happening. Whether it was Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, why do you give a pass to one and not the other? I want to know. Because they do it with all 3, Mahomes, Burrow, and Josh. What is it that y'all have against those players, and what is it that you love so much about Lamar Jackson? I want to know. I genuinely want to know. Because as soon as Lamar Jackson misses the playoffs, we got to give him a pass. He got injured. He was injured for most of the year, man. But when Mahomes misses the playoffs, see, he's not the GOAT. He's not better than Brady. He's this, he's that. He tears his ACL or whatever it is. Oh, it doesn't matter. There's hatred, and there's a certain love that these analysts have for Lamar Jackson, so much so that they love to criticize. They're so quick to criticize these great, talented quarterbacks. But when you have a guy who literally is the definition of a choke job in the biggest of moments, they love to praise the hell out of this man. So the only way I'm able to concede that this was Josh Allen's fault is if they say all those past years when Lamar Jackson couldn't get past any of those teams, whether it was the Tennessee Titans, whether it was the Buffalo Bills against Josh Allen, whether it was Mahomes and the Chiefs, the only way I'm able to concede is if they can say that he couldn't get past those teams because of him. I'm Daniel Sauls, the host of the Daniel Sauls Show, and I'll be back with more videos very soon for y'all. Make sure you go like, turn on post notifications on as always, and comment. Let me know what you think about this video, and if you want to see more greatness and more amazing takes from me, Daniel Sauls, make sure you go subscribe to my channel because I will be back with more videos very soon for y'all. Thank you so much, and peace out.